Broadcasting live from the Demon Seed Radio Mobile Command Studio from whatever godforsaken strip club or porn convention they happen to drunkenly stumble across. You're listening to Demon Seed Radio.
Doug, have you ever seen those real sex dolls, the really like life-size, life-looking ones?
I guess so. I mean,
have you ever like seen one up close or in person or anything like that?
I don't know. I feel like this is a trick question or something.
Well, it's really more of a segue because our next guest is Matthew McMullen, and he is here with Real Doll, one of the creators of the Real Dolls. So, Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing all right. So I mean, anybody who is familiar with the Howard Stern show, or the first time I ever saw them was on the Real Sex HBO special they did where they went to y'all's factory. God, that was mid-'90s, I guess, right?
A very long time ago.
Yeah, it was a hot minute ago. That was the first time I ever saw them before. But we met our camera guy, Jason Knight of FuzzyPeachProductions.com, and he introduced us to like the whole doll community. That there was all types of different dolls and different ways to do it, and you guys are like the pioneers of it. So if you could give us a little bit of background on how it all started and how you did it.
Well, really, this all started back in about 96, 97, so it's almost 20 years ago. That's crazy how time flies. But,
right.
Basically, it started out as a very realistic posable mannequin, and this was back when the internet was just getting going, so I had this little website. People started finding it, however they found it, and they were emailing me saying, hey, I love what you're doing. Can I have sex with it? Pretty straightforward. So
yeah.
I feel like that's a question for a lot of men, though.
Whenever
matter
you buy
what
something,
it is.
you're like, can I eat it or have sex with it?
I think of that when I go to Publix Bakery.
Yeah, car makers probably get emails like that too, but I got an alarming number of them. So I decided that what I was doing should probably just go that direction.
Oh, so the opposable mannequins weren't originally sex dolls?
No.
Oh, wow, okay.
I was just trying to make something like wax museum quality realism that was posable. I thought maybe high-end stores could have them for like the effect value.
Okay. So like really realistic mannequins and shit like.
Yeah,
like
it just turned out people wanted to fuck them. So
there
it's
you
weird
go.
because I work with Stormy Daniels in Cali, and she has hers in the studio, and she always tried to make me stick my finger. I've stuck my finger in the mouth.
She tried to make you.
No, that's it. It's like stick your finger in there.
You
See,
didn't
he's afraid if he does it and he likes it too much, he'll never leave the house.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I've never fucked a fleshlight because, like I said,
either one.
Yeah, if I
I'm sure there's people out there fucking flashlights.
I would be fucking it right now.
You would just walk around with it.
What?
Just
I
be
would never
like,
stop
You
fucking
mean you're expecting that experience to be that amazing that you
No,
can't
that's why I
ever
don't
stop
wanna try
doing
it.
it?
No, I don't want to try
he's
it.
scared of the temptation.
Yeah.
The
where's-
siren song of Silicone.
Yeah, where's Flynn? Oh, he's just fucking his flashlight.
Just got shame blazed from like 7 days of you never leaving the
but
bed.
don't be mad though, because this is Misty Stones. It's an interracial flashlight.
Oh, there you go. There you go. See, you got that going on. You're an equal opportunity
Damn
flashlight
right,
fucker.
dude. I don't.
Says the guy with the Hello Kitty socks.
Damn
Right?
right.
So now, okay, so you started you noticed that people wanted to fuck them. So what was like the first prototype doll? Like what's different from like the original prototype to like one you can buy today?
Well, the original, like I said, it wasn't necessarily anatomically correct in a functional sense.
Yeah.
She had a vagina, but the tunnel didn't go anywhere.
So the first one just had a hole.
It was just like, it was
We
like
just
a
dremeled
like
one
a
in
pot
there.
of gold with no pot.
Right.
So basically what I did was I had to go back to the drawing board, as it were, and give it that functionality, make the breasts feel like breasts, and make the ass feel like an ass. And it was more about the materials than anything else. But compared to then, I mean, today's dolls are just night and day. I mean, we have really come a long way.
I know this might be backtracking a little bit, but what were you in before this that got you into like making these dolls? Like, is there some kind of background?
Well, I was as a younger man, I was a very perverted man, and I was very artistically driven to draw naked women, sculpt naked women. So that's where it all started. And a lot of my sculptures were, smaller, kind of like pin-up kind of stuff. Yeah. And eventually I said, I want to do a life-size piece. I want it to be different from anything I've ever seen, which means the posable thing. And I started looking at materials and figuring out how I could pull it all off. And so it was really a combination of artistic drive and an intense appreciation for the female form.
And you had to, because no one was ever doing anything like it. So I mean, you
No.
had to be tunnel vision, like not listen to what everybody was saying. I mean, because that's a jump that is, you know, when people first think about it, it's like, what the hell?
Well,
You
I
know?
mean, it's one thing to sculpt like a figure that's 2 feet tall, but
Yeah.
when you jump to like full 5 feet,
So who was the first porn star that you made the or was it just a normal girl?
well, when I first started, it was just I invented these characters.
Or you didn't
kind of-
model it after like that
Okay.
girl in high school that never let you get some? Or
Yeah,
something
just
like that?
kind of, you know, I kind of had this goal to make a life-size doll,
Yeah.
and I just went with whatever happened. I started shaping it, and it just happened.
Fucking cool, man.
So when people order, like let's say, can they order like? Because I mean, people always think that how oh my god, those things have to be expensive. Like, do you have like a budget friendly one all the way up to like a top of the line Mercedes? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of what
Is there
we
a bargain
offer,
bin?
can you get?
Can we just
you
buy
get the
an
Hyundai-
arm?
Can you get the Hyundai or can you get
You
the?
get Julie from Walmart all the way up to Stormy Daniels.
Exactly.
hand job Hannah.
Yeah, right.
No,
you get the
so
chick from IHOP. Or
really, I mean, we do have we have a pretty good spread as far as how much money you want to invest.
Okay.
We have partial dolls. We have full dolls. We have, create your own dolls. We have the licensed porn
You do it
star
for men?
Wicked Girls. We have men.
No shit.
We
How
have
mu-
everything.
What is an
So,
investment to make a man doll?
Well, it's all the dolls range from 5,000 to 7,000, pretty much.
Yeah.
Male, female, whatever it is, and depending on what options you choose, that's going to dictate the end price.
I would love to have my own doll just sitting at my house chilling.
You could put him in the passenger seat and ride
You
him.
could put your finger in it.
Yeah.
No,
would be-
he'll be afraid.
Oh my god, I didn't think
He
about
said
that.
he won't do it.
You can put him in the passenger seat and you can ride in the carpool.
Yeah,
lane.
the HOV lane. Now, but
And
that
then
would
fuck
be.
him while in the drive.
I was gonna say that would be the ultimate in
No, I
narcissism,
don't
though.
wanna fuck my
No,
dog. I just wanna
no,
have
That's
no.
fun with
dumb.
me.
That's
You're
dumb.
gonna get super high one night. You're gonna be sitting in your house. You're gonna be looking at this doll, and you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
I could fuck myself right now, literally. And
I
you,
don't think I'm that narcissistic.
it'll
though.
happen.
It'll happen.
No.
Everyone
Now,
is
if I had a
not
flashlight sitting in my
narcissistic.
house,
You
one night
get-
I'm bored watching fucking
Nope,
Family Guy. I'm
nope.
like, oh, man,
You'll
I'm gonna
get
fuck
super
this thing.
high. You'll turn on your music.
Oh yeah,
and
I
then
always listen to my music.
you'll just bang it out.
Then I'm performing Friday night at Body English. Just to throw
Yeah.
that
See how
out
he
there.
threw that shit in?
Exactly. But you'll bang it out while watching one of your scenes on TV. It's just gonna be the ultimate.
As I cry and use my tears for lube.
Knowing that we're auctioning off your anal virginity for $321
To a woman. Let's not like we keep fucking not putting that in
to
there. when I
anybody,
say that.
to anybody who can give us
what dollar amount are we
$321.
at?
No, and
What
it's
dollar are
fucking
we at?
more
Well,
than
we're
that.
we're only at $110.
Yeah.
I
But
thought
our
we were at,
goal
like,
is 300.
$120.
It's supposed
No,
to
you
be
got us up to
$100,000 for
But
my
our goal
anal
is
virginity.
$321.
How did we get so low?
People ask that question all the time.
This is a sweet virgin
Everybody's
asshole.
good at something,
It's never
guys.
had anything in it, man. Just a finger once.
I make
and
rubber people. You guys take things to a whole new low.
exactly.
Wait, so when you make a rubber man, a full-size man that a lady would buy, or a man to probably have sex with, is it just permanently erect the doll, or
No, he has interchangeable parts.
oh
What?
man,
so
Comes
he
with
can
the
be
That's
hung,
crazy.
half hung,
Oh wow.
It's
full
the
mast,
Inspector
half
Gadget.
mast,
Does it come with a cum load?
limp, gimp, whatever you want.
That's actually a good question. If you buy the male doll, because I mean they have the toys that have like the little pump that can make it look like it's jizzing. Does that work for the doll? Like, is it?
Not the stock standard model does not have the ability to ejaculate.
Like the Mercedes
But I
model.
have made those.
Nice.
Yeah, we made one for an HBO Real Sex episode,
Uh-huh.
actually,
Wow.
and it
Awesome.
exploded fictitious cum all over 7 people. So
Nice.
Oh, it was
Pretty
a
amazing.
silicone bukkake.
that was an
I'm
extravaganza.
all about that because I do extreme cum blast. That's my dick, and we do that. The pina colada, this giant spray all over girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're the guy at
and
Extreme
I
Cum
didn't
Blast?
think I was
Really?
going to
Yeah.
learn anything
Yeah.
today.
Faster,
Thank
faster,
you.
faster.
That means
faster.
Bobby's
That's me.
seen your dick.
Yeah, everybody see my dick. The whitest dick in porn, man. When you see a really white dick, and that's me.
So you said that previously you had said that you can order a custom doll. So what have you had any like really weird requests for a custom doll? Like
What about a
something that you're
Whitney
just
Morgan
like,
doll?
I don't
I'd
know
like to
about
fuck
it.
that one in the house.
We do get awkward requests. I guess I stopped keeping track, and I stopped talking about it because I guess what now is no longer shocking to me
Yeah.
is like shocking other
So
people.
have you ever made me transgender dolls?
Oh yeah, we do.
Oh,
We do
yeah,
that.
I
Just
bet,
doing
yeah.
That's
everything.
just normal. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
that's
that's what I'm saying. I want.
that's just part of day to day now.
Damn right.
So
But
you
if
know,
you ever had somebody
if
ask
we
for, like, a
think it's
centaur-
weird, like, oh, you want hair where?
Yeah.
Wow, that's strange. So if we think it's weird, it's probably pretty far out there.
True. Okay. Now, one thing I did want to touch on was the people use the dolls for certain things, whether it's a sex doll or they use it as like a replacement for a relationship, things like that. How common do you think that is, where people like buy the dolls as more than just a sex doll, but like a companion?
I think that even if people aren't necessarily thinking about that going into it, the doll can end up being more than they thought it would be.
Okay.
And I mean, people go through thousands of different scenarios that could drive them to a point of like, wow, I think I want to buy a doll. I think I want that. I think that appeals to me. So, I mean, the path that brings them there, who knows? But I can tell you that pretty much everyone that ends up getting into it as a lifestyle and a hobby ends up really appreciating it on a whole new level than they thought they would.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, because we met a guy, where was that, in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. So we met a guy in Chicago, and we saw him wheeling around a girl in a wheelchair. And we just thought, okay, he's wheeling around a girl in a wheelchair. Until I get up to him in line, and I accidentally cut in front, and I went to apologize to said girl in the wheelchair, and it's a real doll sitting in the thing, and he's just rolling around. But the reason we thought that she was so realistic, I mean, aside from her realistic features, was he was talking to her and like having
holding
like
her
different
hand,
conversations.
petting her.
So we had them actually come on the air and do an interview, and
Jackie. Her name was Jackie.
Jackie, that's right. And like he was talking about how like he filed a petition for her to actually be considered a spouse and like all kinds of stuff.
Did he have to pay for her ticket to get in?
Yeah, he did. He paid for a ticket for everything. She had her own badge. It said Jackie and everything.
Well, I mean, the real question in that scenario and any similar scenario, I think, is does it make that person happy?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all that matters to me. And so many people look at what I do and go, you're so weird. Why are you making those dolls? You're strange. But really, the deeper reality of it is I really feel very rewarded knowing that I made that one person happy, or that guy over there didn't feel the way he did before he got his doll.
I love what you just said, because that goes back to what I said, is that a lot of people in this industry forget that we're building fantasies
Absolutely.
for people that can't live it. If you can't fuck Stormy Daniels, we can sell you a doll so you get to try it. You know, like
right, and buy the doll instead of stalking the real woman.
Good call.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that. Also, you've probably saved a lot of people some trouble from some weird people.
Well, who knows? I mean, the thing is, and it's kind of sad, but we all live in a kind of still sexually repressed society. It's okay to show complete over-the-top violence at 6 o'clock on prime time. People getting their heads blown off, whatever, but do not ever show a tit.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Well, I remember.
It's crazy.
I remember growing up when I was a kid. My mom would be like, you know, if I wanted to watch a movie, you could be, you know, Rambo or fucking some slasher movie, but there better not be any nudity in that movie, or else you're ground. You know, it's like it's ridiculous to think
all the
that
violence, but no sexuality.
I remember setting my VCR up when I was little and recording like Cinemax. Like when my parents went to bed, I like set the video to record like all that. Whatever Cinemax used to show. Like
that's where you went wrong.
I'm a piece of shit, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I'm so nice, man, so people don't hate me.
Right. Now, when you created the doll, when you created these dolls, there really wasn't much of there wasn't a market for them. So you guys basically created your own market for extremely realistic dolls. Are you surprised by how far the community has grown? Because I didn't even know it existed until we met Jason, and he told us that there's multiple doll forums, and there's like thousands of people on these forums that talk about their experience with the dolls.
Well, what's crazy is when I started, I reached this point where I realized, pardon me, I realized I was going to quit my job and do this. And little by little, I started going, well, surely we're going to reach the bottom of the pile of people that actually wants this. And so it took a while for me to realize that there was no bottom.
Okay.
That every day more people were going to find out about it. Every day more people were going to be interested in it.
It's going to grow and grow and grow.
And it just kept going. I mean, I literally kept waiting for, you know, the cork to come out and the end of the bottle to be done. And it never happened. So.
Do you ever have trouble keeping up with demand?
I have trouble sometimes keeping myself focused on, you know, like, oh, I'm going to make this new doll. And then over here I'm making another one, and then over here I'm making a face, and then I'm trying to figure out how to make a tongue work. And so that's what I have a hard time with.
The tongues look like they're the
old
most
school
complicated
ADHD. That's what I have a problem with.
Now I've seen like some like attachments and things like that where, you know, like Jason likes to joke and he's like, oh yeah, sometimes I like to have a doll lick my balls. I'm like, you know, he has like the tongue.
He's not joking.
He has like the tongue attachment.
And
So like what are some of like the top of the line upgrades you can add to a doll? Like what crazy shit? He said he had one that you could heat it up, but it burned the doll and it became a whole thing.
Like a little dildo that you put inside of it, isn't it?
You know, we kind of have this open-ended upgrade thing where if you can think of it and ask us and we can actually do it, we'll do it.
Okay.
That's customer service.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, it
So
is.
like what's like the most advanced feature somebody's asked y'all for?
With this guy wanted like fully articulated titanium hand skeletons.
Okay.
And so each hand was like $1,500 because
Wow.
they were laser cut titanium, literally.
Wow.
And so that was
That
his
many
thing.
hand jobs?
He wanted the hands to
Yeah.
really pose. I think he was into photography.
Oh, okay.
And so that was probably one of the more impressive things I've ever been part of.
That's cool. Now the photography thing is interesting as well because when we again, Jason was our entrance point into the whole doll thing. Was he showed us that he had all these different like interchangeable doll pieces and body parts, and one of the things that we were the most intrigued by was the interchangeable butthole, because I guess you have like just a regular gaping butthole for the sex, and then you have like the one that you can put
It's like
in
a little plug.
for
Well,
like
that's more of like
pictures.
an aesthetic plug, so that
Yeah.
it looks more like, you know.
Yeah,
not-
for like a picture or whatever.
It's not a tunnel, it's a button.
So like how like when you guys design those and you guys are coming up with them, like who's the one that gets that detailed? Like, do you have like a 60th screen of a butthole? And they're just, like,
I'm sorry to
there's a
say
crease
I'm the
over
guy.
here?
Are you
That's
getting
awesome.
the owner and the
When it
guinea
comes
pig?
to the detail, they're like, come to the butthole, and I have to come over. There's more to it than you think, guys. Don't laugh.
I'm sure
Really,
there is.
and you think they're all the same. It's not. They're each
No, dude,
one.
you're a fucking
It's
artist.
like a
You're-
fingerprint.
Yeah, like little snowflakes.
It's
Buttholes are
true.
Varying-
They're all different,
Varying levels of cleanliness.
and you never know what's in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
does someone
Or
go?
not.
I want it to look really bleached out, like when they, that ask for that specifically. They need the bleached anus in my fake doll.
Yeah, I can tell you one of the things I've learned over time is everybody has their little thing that they zero in on. You know, some people it's nipples. I want this. I want the dome with the eraser on the end.
Uh-huh.
Or I want the tiny little nickel size, with a P in the middle. So people have their own thing, everybody.
Yeah.
It could be the butthole. It could be the nipples. It could be the breast size. It could be the ass. It could be the feet. You never know.
Now,
and it's all over the place.
what's the biggest like cup size that you guys can do?
How much money you got?
Oh,
I like that answer.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
We had a doll that was so ridiculously huge in terms of breast size that it was tearing. Like after a year, the boobs would fall off.
Oh my
And we had people come and go, "Oh, can I add more to it?
Wow.
Can we do
I
a
need a breast
enhancement?"
augmentation. Yeah.
So we actually retired that body. It was just too big. But
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how many people would come and say, I want this doll, but I want them to be bigger. And each one of these breasts, let me tell you, was about the size of a watermelon.
Jesus
wow.
Christ.
And they wanted them bigger.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
I'm a boob guy, but there's a point that
You
the
gotta draw the line
watermelon
somewhere.
size is yeah. Now when somebody buys one, whether it's a maybe not a custom one, I assume those. I mean, how long can a custom one take to get shipped?
Well, if you want a doll that has like some features added to it and it's an existing body that we offer, it's going to add maybe a month.
Okay.
But if you want a doll from scratch, like you want us to scan a person and create it, and that could take up to a year.
Wow.
Going from scratch to create literally a one-of-a-kind doll, which we have done. The same with all the porn dolls we did and the Wicked Girls and all that. Most people don't go that route because it is expensive and time-consuming, but it can be done.
Now I've seen how the girls get like their fleshlights done or whatever, where they basically just put the plaster over their pussy and then let it sit and whatever. Like, what's the process? Like when you made the Stormy Daniels doll, for example. Does Stormy come to your studio and you guys like? How does that work?
Well, as far as the overall body, that's all a digital scan, and that's done in Burbank at a facility we work with. So they do literally like a three-dimensional photocopy of the entire body and the head. Then they come to our facility. We do usually mold the hands, mold the feet, the nipples, the belly button, the vagina, the butt, the whole thing to get all the detail stuff.
Okay.
And so we combine all of that together once we have the hard copies of everything. And it's, that's our art. That's what we do.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, if you order just a regular one off the assembly line, like I want the model B32, how long does that usually take?
Typically, we're looking about 12 weeks.
Okay.
And everything we do is completely custom, so you do have to basically choose all of these little details.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That go into your doll. I mean, we're talking 20-some faces. And
oh, wow.
So genuinely, what you're saying is when they buy it, they're genuinely getting a one-of-a-kind doll
yeah,
made for
everything's
them.
custom.
It's probably pretty safe to say no two dolls are alike.
It's like Cabbage Patch Kids.
So you get, you pick, I want this body, and I want this face, and I want the skin tone to be tan, and I want those nipples, and I want that vagina, and I want that hair and this makeup.
You ever have any guy come up and be like, I want my ex-wife? Like someone like
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get everything.
What's the weirdest request you've had for something like that? Like, I want it to look like this person. And
the weirdest one was we had a gentleman approach us who wanted a copy made of his mother.
Oh.
When she was 30.
Okay.
And he was 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. I don't want to go any deeper.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We don't draw
that one kind of took the cake on the.
We don't draw a lot of lines here at Demon Seed Radio, but these are one of the lines that we draw.
Right.
Can you do famous people? Like, can somebody just name a famous person?
I can make a doll that resembles a famous person.
But it needs to be a little off so you don't get sued.
That famous person.
Unless they allow it. You want to be
unless they sign off on it.
So,
exactly.
so they couldn't order the Doug Benson, but they could get the Dong Benson model if they wanted
something
to.
like that.
Dude, and then you go on a show, the curtain's open, and there you are, just standing there, doll, dick hard.
Do people order dolls like I want it to be fat? Like, do you have overweight ones? You think they'd just all be in good shape?
For practical production reasons and for lack of information in terms of supply and demand, most of our dolls are not what you would consider overweight.
Yeah.
The bigger dolls we have, which are voluptuous, they're heavy enough.
They're just
literally
curvy.
injured myself trying to move them around for a photo shoot.
The beer belly truck or hairy back.
I don't really want to go too far in that direction. Someone might get hurt.
The Don Jeremy, if you will, the Don Jeremy doll.
I just saw Ron downstairs. He was actually in the Real Doll movie.
Yeah.
It's an old school.
We had it playing while we did the show. He was very proud of it.
And every time I see him, he remembers me. He's like, "Oh my God, the dolls! You're a genius."
Well, you kind of are. I mean,
yes,
to be honest, you are. I mean, you're a trendsetter. You came up with an idea. You didn't give a fuck what anybody said, and you did it.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot to be said about that.
So do you have like a wish list? Like I want to make a doll of this person, or I hope we get a chance to do that.
You know what? I've kind of shifted gears into this whole artificial intelligence robotic thing. So that's where my wish list is. Not like copying a specific person, but I guess adding to what I've already done.
Okay.
And making the experience like something otherworldly that people never imagined would be possible.
Talk about motion, moving.
Artificial intelligence, carry on a conversation, remember what my favorite food is.
Oh my God, you're going to terminate
text you from my phone and turn on the oven before I get home, make sure the air conditioner's on. It's a virtual life.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Terminator with sex dolls.
And there's a little knob you can like turn how bitchy she is that day. Because believe it or not, we all like it.
You make
a little bit.
The nipple
loves the grudge fuck, man.
We all like it a little.
Nipple one can go to choose her attitude. Nipple two determines her like level of horny.
And then there's a USB plug so you can plug your phone in.
Yeah, right. You have a new email.
I'm totally stealing that idea. Right in the belly button.
Hey.
Yeah, right.
And she charges your phone.
Right? You can't beat that, man.
So what are some of the headways you've made into the yeah, right?
It's not that.
Well, I was actually just here a couple weeks ago doing speaking at an interview at CES.
Okay.
And we've actually got a prototype robot. We have a prototype AI. We have an app.
Has it tried to attack you yet?
No, it's not gonna do that
yet.
She doesn't want to take over the world, just your bedroom.
Yet.
So we're getting there. You know, we have a working artificial intelligence cloud-based piece of software that's it's pretty mind-blowing.
So you could bang Siri.
Yeah, more or less.
Oh,
you can make her sound how you want. You can give her the personality you want. And all of the things that you would think would make that AI be unique. You can really.
If you can make her cook, that would be the fucking shit.
Right?
Because my dream thing would be a beautiful girl that doesn't talk that can cook.
You could be banging her and be like,
"Hey, a tall order."
You could be banging the doll and be like, "Hey, what's the show times for this new movie coming out?" And she's like, these are the show times for the movie coming out.
Or just
like will do that.
Movie phone.
You can ask her about particle physics while you're getting a blowjob.
Exactly. So we can learn stuff
oddly,
while getting
she
laid.
can still talk.
And that's the thing. There's so many endless possibilities with this,
right?
man. It's like,
oh
it's
man,
awesome, dude.
We're gonna get replaced by robotic sex dolls.
Yeah, you are.
Now, I did want to touch on something a little on the serious side as far as the dolls go. I know that there's been a news story that came out recently about a company that was making dolls that looked or resembled underage to help people with that, whatever, that predilection to go after kids, and maybe it'll help and not make it a thing. Do you think there's any validity to that, or do you think it's just they wanted to make
that's been asked to me a lot of times, and that's a slippery slope. I mean, my opinion is, artistically, I don't know that I want to go there.
Yeah.
But I see where the mindset is. Like, it's kind of, you can sort of understand where they're thinking it might be helping. But I don't know. I feel like it may be contributing.
Sure.
I think that you're kind of, by showing someone imagery or showing someone an illusion of something, I feel like you might be actually encouraging them to pursue the real thing.
Further. Just getting their minds messed up.
If you eat enough things that taste just like a chocolate cookie, eventually you're going to want that fucking cookie.
Yeah, true.
That's what I kind of think.
The downside's way, way worse than the upside of that, I think.
Yeah, but that was a big news story that's going around.
No, I saw that,
lately. Yeah. So I figured we got them on. Let's ask them.
Well, I heard they're doing that like the UK. They're trying to ban sex dolls
or
something like that.
No, they're trying to ban sex robots.
Yeah,
they're very worried about having sex with robots, which is
they
like
think it's going to kill like.
They're not worried about the military robots though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And that goes all back to this whole double standard that we've seen.
Yeah, we have a robot that can kill you, but it won't.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We don't want to suck your dick.
No, but literally, they're okay with a military robot standing guard on the corner.
Yeah.
That could go haywire at any moment. But if there's one around the corner in the alley that will give blowjobs for $1,
right?
Get rid of that one. We don't want anybody to have a blowjob.
Now, let's say you're into crazy strippers and you want one that's like, will give you a blowjob, but she could possibly kill you too. Is there like that little like option?
That's the middle nipple knob.
Exactly.
You turn
like
that
maybe
up.
she'll kill you, maybe
the
not.
danger factor.
Now, with the customization, I mean, let's say you wanted a chick with like tattoos or something. Can you guys put tattoos on the body or no?
Yeah, anything's possible.
That's interesting.
Got enough money.
Just more money.
You can actually take a tattoo machine and actually put a tattoo on the dolls. It's totally possible.
That would actually be a really good, better than doing
There's
it on
a guy, not affiliated with me, but I've seen a guy who did like extensive tattoos on his real doll, and it looks pretty good.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I didn't think the silicone would hold up to that much.
No, it will.
Wow, that's awesome.
The pigment goes in, and it's different from tattooing a person, but it does work.
Wow. Now what's how long is a doll supposed to last? Like, is it like like the dolls will be good for a good 5-10 years, or is it a lifetime thing? Like,
honestly, I think there's still dolls that I made 15 years ago that are still out there, and the people took really good care of them. And then there's dolls that people bought a year ago that are like falling apart, and they're wondering why. Well, I didn't do anything wrong. I pushed her under the bed when I was done with her, and I drag her out by her foot. What's the big deal? I think it all boils down to how you take care of it, like anything else. If you park your car in a ditch and you're like going 40 when you parked, you're not taking care of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Okay, right on. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know you guys have a lot to do.
I'm very interested in this.
That's good stuff.
Where can we get you online?
If you go to realdoll.com, that's pretty much the gateway to everything that I do.
Okay.
So
gateway to the dark side.
If you fish around in there, you'll find prosthetics and dolls and robots and all kinds.
Has anybody been buried with their doll yet? That's got to happen someday, right?
No, not yet.
I bet you it will.
And I wonder,
somebody takes care of it real nice.
We've had a couple of marriages, but no
marriages.
No
Okay.
Have you ever officiated a real doll marriage?
No.
Why would he do that?
Or walk her?
I was busy doing radio.
Or walk her down? Or walk her down the aisle? Since technically you'd be her father.
I have received cards. I receive a lot of cards from doll owners, like Christmas cards, showing pictures of them with their doll and thank you and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Father's Day, God knows. So yeah, that, but no official stuff.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much.
You.
RealDoll.com.
My pleasure.
Make sure you check them out. You're going to be at the Wicked booth, right?
Yeah, we're at the Wicked booth until the show's over.
Okay, and you can check them out if you're in the area. The Wicked booth is located outside of the Artist Hall down in the main hallway area. Just look for the giant life-size Stormy Daniel, Jessica Drake, and Asa Akira, right? Those are the three you guys have out there?
That's right.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, man. All right, guys. You're listening to Demon Seed Radio. We are broadcasting live from the AVN Media Room. Our sponsor is Evil Angel for the media room, as well as AVN. I'd also like to thank Spunk Lube, spunklube.com. Enter in Demon Seed Radio as the promo code and save 14% off of your next order. And also DNA Studio B at DNA_Studio B with JW Ties and Desperate Pleasures and all that good stuff. You can check them out. HopeHarperXXX.com. Make sure you go there as well. And don't forget to check us out, DemonSeedRadio.com. Where you can hear us live and hear all the past episodes as well as pictures from this week and all that crazy cool shit. So, Doug, what did you think about the dolls and learning all that craziness?
I just kept thinking of more questions. If he hadn't have left, I still would have been asking him stuff. It's when you at the beginning when you're like, "Have you ever seen a real doll?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Like a Barbie?
Clearly, I obviously have seen what if not his work,
yeah.
The idea of it. And did you ever see that movie with Lars and the Real Girl?
Yeah, actually.
With what's his name, Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, when he had the whole town kind of played it up and pretended like he had a girlfriend.
That's where the next question I would have asked him if he was still here is at what point in his work with these real dolls did that movie come out? Like, was that before he started doing it, or?
Oh no, that was a
or was that
movie.
one of his dolls?
That was one of his dolls. That was one of the real dolls.
I bet Mannequin made him think about it when he was younger.
I was going to say.
Remember Mannequin? Remember that?
Yeah.
Mannequin would probably be the biggest inspiration because
the girl from
Kim Cattrall.
Yeah. If they because Real Doll started in '97. And Lars and the Real Girl came out. Well, that was what
2000 something, right?
2012, I think.
Yeah. So
that was super recent.
So so
that's probably one of his dolls. And that doll, that woman doll in that movie is pretty sexy.
Yeah, it was. I
mean, sexy.
You really grow to love her. But now we got someone else coming in.
Sexy Sadie Santana.